Don't come to the club and start talking about what we've done in the past. Talk about what you haven't done anything.
He's want to show for the season.
I said this season. You ain't gonna show you.
This is like Hey, how you doing, everybody? Good morning if you're listening to us in the morning. Good afternoon if you're listening in the afternoon. Good evening if you're listening in the evening. You're tuned into another episode of Podcast Pundits. I'm going to be your host for the most. I go by the name of Strives, or you can call me Striver. And as you all know, if you've been rocking with us, I'm an Arsenal fan, avid Arsenal fan. And if it's international duty, you know, I'll be representing England or Nigeria. And you'll be glad to know I'm not on the podcast by myself. I'm joined by my usual podcast pundit. He goes by the name of...
Yo, it's your boy Joe Nomadic, aka Liverpool's #1 supporter. That's a funny one because obviously we got a guest here and he's been questioning me on that. When I say #1 supporter, that's tongue in cheek, man. I'm definitely not that, but it was a nice tag in it. But yeah, man, life is hard right now, so more interested in what's happening with Tottenham and Arsenal today. So if we do a little less on Liverpool and a bit more on the major event, I'll be happy with that.
Boy, I can't make no promises, buddy. Can't make no promises.
No.
Oh god. But as you know, the usual pundits in your Del Estrada, Marley Marl, and Drayman, they're not with us. They're not with us today, but we do have some guests joining us to fill the void, so to speak. We've got our returnee. He also represents Arsenal. If you're watching on YouTube, you can probably tell by the top he's wearing. But if you're listening, you may be accustomed to him from, I can't remember which episode it was, but it was a dope episode. If you want to introduce yourself, my boy.
Yeah, Bobby Hendrix, aka Bobby Digital, aka today it's Bobito because I'm feeling a bit Brazilianish. Arsenal fan. Returnee to the podcast. Looking forward to it today, man. It's been a lovely weekend of football, I think, for me anyway. For maybe not for my man Joey and maybe not for my man Donnie, but it's been beautiful and I can't wait to get this one cracking. Let's go.
Yeah, man, we can't wait to get your takes as well, man. It's been a great weekend, like you said. And yeah, you made reference to him. This is a debut for the boy. He's a Spurs fan.
It's your boy.
Been trying to get him on for a little while.
Hey, well played for coming out, man.
Hey, but Spurs fans are few and far between. Hard to get on the pod, boy.
When I agreed to this, I was thinking, why did I do this? You know, what have I done? But no, your boy Donnie Darko, Daddy Danko, and I'm a Spurs fan. I don't know if anyone picked that up or not, but yeah, I'm repping Spurs. I'm repping Spurs.
Real, man. Brilliant to have you guys on, man. And yeah, man, it's gonna be a dope episode. But obviously, just for the listeners or viewers that don't know much about yourself, how long have you been supporting Spurs, Darks?
Yeah, so it's in my family. It's a cross between obviously that North London side. It's a cross between the Arsenals and Spurs. I might have had an Arsenal shirt on early years, but nah, I've always been Tottenham, man. I'm 34 years. I've seen the dark times. I've just welcomed the sun, and all he knows is winning. All he knows is trophies. So I'm happy for that, and I'm smiling.
You counted that, yeah?
I'm counted that, man. I'm counted that. All he knows is success, isn't it? I'm trying to better what I didn't have. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
that's what you can do as a father, boy.
That's all I can do as a father, innit?
Facts. That's all right. Well, look, well, Bobby, we know a bit about you, so we're just gonna delve straight into the North London derby. We're gonna delve straight into the North London derby, and boy, what a game, man! Just to kind of set the tone, set the pictures, set the scene. Manchester City lost to Newcastle. Liverpool, we'll get onto Liverpool, but they lost. They didn't just lose; they got destroyed. So that was setting the stage now.
Yeah, at least we got a goal.
Yeah, boy, I hear you
At least
still.
we
I
got
hear
a
you.
goal, innit?
And a very good goal at that as well.
Yeah. Joey's trying hard not to interject here, and I'm impressed and I'm proud of you at the moment, boy. I'm proud of you.
Hey, my blood is boiling, bro.
But yeah, man, the stage was set. Can Arsenal do it? Can Arsenal respond to the pressure? Is this a different kind of Arsenal? A lot has been made of Arsenal's squad depth. A lot has been made of Arsenal being together for year upon year upon year. The last 3 seasons, finishing second. Every other team are claiming that they're in transition, but Arsenal can probably say that we've been together. Well, can say we've been together the longest, have the least transitioning to do. But it's time to see whether they can, or say we can, pass this test. North London derby, pressure's on. It was all to play for. And Arsenal ran up 4-1 winners, man. 4-1 winners. It was emphatic. I want to start off with you, Darko, yeah? And the reason why I want to start off with you is because Thomas Frank, he played Arsenal in a pre-season. I don't know if you caught that game. Yeah, but it was 0-0, innit?
I think it was a.
Yeah, and then it went penalties, and then you won that pre-season trophy and celebrated it.
But
And then obviously
the background. Yeah.
And then obviously Thomas Frank's gone on to what's he gone on to do? He's gone on to obviously give PSG a wicked game. Looked like you guys were gonna win your second trophy back to back, and then PSG nicked it last minute. And then you've done a number of Manchester City as you normally do. And then it seems like he had a similar kind of tactics in mind when he approached this Arsenal game. And I kind of want to get your take. What do you reckon of that? Like, how were you feeling when you saw the lineup, when you saw the formation? How was you feeling before ball was kicked?
Well, first off, I had no hopes going into this derby. I'll be real with you. As soon as I see the Pigeon Don up there, I thought, this is curtains. But listen, he catfished us like all our managers do. First couple games, PSG, Ange's done the same thing, bro. He's winning them first couple games. It's when we get to the middle of the seasons and the injuries kick in and the ball pressures that you see if he's going to break. He's doing well. Look, listen, he's doing well. Levy's out of the picture now, so let's see if we get a different result from what we've got, because we've had some of the best managers. We've had the Mourinho's. We've had, you know what I mean, and we know how that ended. Yeah.
When you say catfish, it sounds to me like you feel like you've been hoodwinked a little bit. Like, as in, you thought you was getting something and you're getting another. But Thomas Frank's been like, unless you ain't watched him at Brentford, he's that kind of manager. He sets up to be quite resolute defensively. You get what I mean? And he has shown that he's a bit more tactically flexible. Are you kind of talking from that sense that maybe you thought he was a bit more flexible and can switch it up?
Listen, I just thought it was going to be look, don't get me wrong, there's still time, but I weren't expecting him to bring. I never expect managers to bring from their previous clubs like Brentford. I think he turned us over when he was at Brentford the last time we played them, and I remember thinking, like this, he's got a bit about him what others haven't really brought to Tottenham, and I don't know. Like I said, there's different balled in now. Things are different. He started out well, PSG. You saw the text messages I sent you.
Yeah.
I was a believer. But listen, look, it's still early. We're November now. Anything's better than 17, right? Come on.
Yeah.
Got to be an improvement on 17.
Can I jump in quick on that as well?
Yeah, go for
as an Arsenal fan, the whole the day is always darkest before the dawn type conversation. I remember when Arteta, there was a period where we didn't win a game between the end of September through to the end of December. Do you remember when Arteta first started managing us? Yeah. We had a really rough period where every week it was Arteta out, get him out. He's out of his depth. He's this, he's that. And I was one of them. I was there going, what the hell is this guy? Let's go and get Allegri and all these cats. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I've found, and this is one thing I will say to the Spurs fans with Frank. Frank is a very good manager. He is. And sometimes when you're inheriting a team, you're inheriting the personalities that have been set and made there as well. So some of these guys, whether it's your man Richard Arlison or whether it's like, you know, all these other cats, that some of them may feel they're too good for the squad they're in. Some of them may feel whatever. So I think that there comes a point where if you back the manager enough and show that he's your man, yeah, and as long as the results aren't falling completely off a cliff, but as long as you back him and show that he's the guy, everyone has to fall in line or they'll go. And once you get the first 2 washes done, you should be all right. And I think that the problem in modern football, and the same with the modern fan bases, people are not patient. And I think that if you get rid of Thomas Frank, like I've seen some Spurs fans saying he's out of his depth, get rid, it's foolish. You got to see it through at least 2 seasons, I think, to know whether the guy's good or not.
100%.
And nothing's going to be worse than 17th.
I think it's the North London derby, though. It's the North London derby that seems to always be the straw that breaks the camel's back in regards to like Spurs and how they see their managers. I think like the North London derby is a massive fixture for Spurs. Obviously, I always go with you, don't I? I call you the younger brothers. Them innit? Like I say that. I always say that. I mean it in a sense that it's expected for Arsenal to do well well in comparison to Spurs in like pretty much every remit, right? But we're in that game, form counts for nothing. It's a cup final, and I think what it is, what I think Spurs fans that you've probably spoken to, because I've spoken to a few myself as well, Bobby, is they want to see a fight. They want to see that passion translate into what that fixture represents for them, and maybe for the fact that he's set up with 3 centre backs, so 3 centre backs in defence. It almost, although you're going 3-4-3. It translates as a 5 at the back, because where Arsenal play, where we're quite dominant on the wings, their wingers are going to have to drop back. You know what I mean? So it's almost like it's 5 at the back.
Yeah.
And I think it's just it shows, or it would suggest that he didn't go out to win the game. He went out to try and stem the bleed before we made any stab wound, so to speak.
I think it didn't help. I think with this derby as well, where obviously the pre-match press conferences they have with the coaches. I know Arteta, when he did his, was quite cagey about who was available or not. He wasn't telling us who was fit and who wasn't, and he just said, you know, it's a derby, and he gave as much respect to Frank as he needed to give on whatever. I think Frank in his one, whilst he was also super respectful about how Arsenal developed as a club, there was also the whole like Eze thing where he said, "Who's that?" Yeah, and then also he also said, which was bananas, but he also said along the lines of, "I know the importance of this. I know the importance to our fans. There are only 2 massive games in the calendar each season, in these 2 games against Arsenal each season, and we're not going there for draws. We're going there like to win. Like we always go to play to win." So with that was a bit of fighting talk, perhaps, and to see the Spurs team that turned up was, and like I said to Darko earlier, it was quite early on. From quite early on, you could see the way the game was going to go, and I think we were out of sight pretty much at the end of the first half anyway. So to turn it around would have been very difficult. I think that's the bit that's probably upset the Spurs fans a bit more, is the fact that he gave the talk like you guys were they talked like they were going to puff chest, and it didn't. Only the pigeon did in the end.
Listen, at the end of the first half, you literally didn't have a shot. Sorry, Dark. So I'll give the mic straight back to you. But you didn't even have an attempt. So like, obviously, you're watching that first half, and you know you don't want Arsenal to win the Prem, yeah. So you're going to do everything in your power to stop that from happening. If you think that may be a possibility, how are you feeling watching that first half, man? I'm going to get to Joey in a moment, because I want to know what he felt about that win afterwards. But how are you feeling in that moment?
But I was vexed. The performance did not match. Like Bobito said, like Frank was talking with chest. Eze who? That was dumb. He was talking with chest, and he didn't the players didn't back it on the field. But just coming back to the Thomas Frank, I don't know from other Tottenham fans that I spoke to the kids, I've spoke to them. This was Frank's first derby. I don't really know what we thought we was going to see from it, because it's a, like you say, it's a big game. It's one of the biggest derbies about. So I feel like he had to talk with Chess because of the importance of the game. But
So you reckon was he lying to you then?
He quickly got found out, man. He quickly got found out. The performance says it all. Like you said, there was no shots in the first half. I don't think. I'll have to check my stats, but I don't think we put in that well. There was no hunger that like what Arsenal were coming for. There was nothing from Spurs, which is what we're seeing.
What? So we're saying it's like a boxing coach that tells his fighter. He feels like a boxing coach when he says to his fighter, "You can win it, you got it," and they know they ain't got it. Is that what you're saying? It was G them up to hold licks.
Oh man, our leg, yeah. It was.
He's saying it sounded a bit like freaking what lions in the camp.
Lions in the camp.
I'm not going there.
Well, look,
I like that. That's my brother still.
I see Van der Ven. I see Romero at the back. Danso's not done like too much to make me feel like we're strong there. So when I see them three, I could see that there was there was a weakness there, or not a weakness. There was room for Arsenal. Like you said, you're very aggressive on them wings, Arsenal. So that's where we needed at least to be strong. And yeah, you quickly picked that out of us, and we was lost.
Yeah, there was no one getting locked up in Jed Spence's penitentiary this time. But
nah.
That was my biggest disappointment, to be honest. That was my biggest disappointment because obviously I like it when footballers come out and give like Thomas Frank, like he tried obviously. But I like it when players come out and they give it a bit of that and then they just come out and back it on the pitch, man. Remember when Ange said, "Oh, I always win in my second trophy," like even though he was horrible at Spurs, like, I'm always gonna rate. No, I'm gonna rate him for delivering on what he promised, isn't it? That's what
Ron still taking.
Yeah, bro, that's what he says on the tin, mate.
Yeah.
So like.
Yeah, when Arsenal used to lose their games and I used to crash it. I'm straight to AFTV. I'm straight to the podcast to see everyone crashing out. I just wanted to see Big Angie's press conference. That was all. That was the entertainment for it. That helped the losses. Look, it didn't work out, and now we're starting again with Frank, and on to the next derby.
I was disappointed with Spencer. To be fair, I did think you do want to attack. What's your best opportunity for attacking as Spurs against an Arsenal team that's pretty adept in it? Most of your goals or most of your chances have come from Pedro Porro whipping good balls into the box. Yeah. Obviously, you got Richarlison, and I don't ever want to see Colin Moani ever again. But I think I would have preferred to see Jed Spence playing on the left and playing against Saka, because that's the battle that we saw last time, and it went really well, didn't it? So that, why not just do that again? Like Pedro Porro, who played on the left, Trossard. I don't think he needed Jed Spence on Trossard, to be completely honest. Obviously, Trossard is sick. Don't get me twisted, but he's not Saka. And if Jed Spence is a 1v1 Shackleman, that's who you need to play versus Saka. So I was disappointed when I saw Udogie starting, and he's been in and out of the team with injury. So he didn't look very sharp as well. Yeah, your formation it just looked a bit too reserved for me. So obviously I've just lost. My team's just lost. Man City, who's the nearest contenders, have lost as well. I'm thinking, come on Spurs, man. This is it. You're the final frontier for all our hate watchers, isn't it?
You can't rely on us. We're relying on City. You can't rely on us.
So what was it? Would you agree then, lads? Yeah, was it a statement win? So obviously, I prefaced the conversation with trying to set the scene. Obviously, the so-called title rivals have all lost, and this is a time for Arsenal to show that they can step up, and pressure doesn't mean anything for them. So Arsenal winning the way that we won, was that a statement win or not?
No, it's not
Or
only
did you
because
expect
of.
it?
I did expect Arsenal to win because Spurs have been in bad form, and if you watch the Spurs Chelsea game, that was probably one of the worst games. Not obviously Chelsea weren't that great, but it's probably one of the worst attacking performances I've seen from Spurs, and probably seen from Spurs in the Premier League in a very long time as well. So that was I was expecting that. Obviously, they managed to come back against Man United, but I didn't expect it to be, what was it, 4-1? I expected it to be
4-1.
2-1, 2-1, maybe 2-0, maybe. So I don't think it was a test. It was a test on your mental fortitude and just a great opportunity to take advantage of the lead and establish a big point gap between you and the next team. But in terms of actually pushing Arsenal to the limit, or like maybe how you played against Sunderland, I wasn't expecting that at all.
Okay, I mean, I disagree with you. Okay, I reckon it was a statement win, and I know obviously Tottenham was coming off of a their form was a bit poor, to be honest with you. Outside of the draw with United and the win against Copenhagen, they literally had lost. They lost against Newcastle, lost against Chelsea, but like I said, North London derby form just goes out of the window.
Yeah.
And I think the context and the nuance that set this game up is where the pressure came into play, and I felt like it was time for Arsenal to show that, yo, we have matured from the 22-23 season or the 23-24 season, so to speak. Yeah, whenever it's kind of been set up for us to show that we want to win this Premier League. We've been given let's take last season. Forget the seasons when we actually put up a challenge. Let's think about the season when I don't think we put up a title challenge, when Liverpool won it by a clear landslide, in my opinion. There was so many times when Liverpool kind of was fumbling. Yeah, I would always say don't mess up, and Liverpool was trying to, but Arsenal couldn't. Take advantage of it. Whereas this time, Arsenal watched Newcastle take all 3 points against City.
Mm-hmm.
Our Newcastle were also coming off a run of some bad results. We saw Nottingham Forest, who just switched up their manager, beat Liverpool and beat them again we will get onto that game, but beat them pretty convincingly. And now you're like, Chelsea's also won their game, so you got Chelsea just in the shadows, just lurking. It's time to show that that you guys are ready. Like Arsenal, you're ready to take this Premier League and not take any prisoners with it. And not just that, it was also a statement win, in my opinion, because the way Tottenham set up, where basically the statement was, it doesn't matter how you set up against us. Are you going to defend? Are you going to put 5 men behind the ball? You're going to put 10 men behind the ball? Or are you going to come out and play like how you can even argue how Sunderland played? No matter what you decide to do, Arsenal have an answer for you. Also, Arsenal, there's a lot has been made with our squad depth, right? So Gabriel's injured. You heard me complaining in the last episode that I don't think he should have played against Senegal, whatnot. And I'm complaining Gabriel's been one of our key players. But then I also said I was excited to see how Hincapié filled in. I wanted to see that test. I remember speaking with B-Man, and he was a little bit worried before the game, if he doesn't mind me saying. But I said, yo, I'm kind of excited to see how we set up against Spurs. I want to see how we respond to this. In fact, this whole week, he's just calling him a pussy. But yeah, this whole week though, I want to see how Arsenal respond. I want to see how we treat the Bayern Munich game. Then I want to see how we end the week against Chelsea. And I just thought it was a statement that to show that, all right, cool. No matter how you set up against us, you need to be worried about us. No matter who we play, whether it's Hincapié, whether it's Gabriel, we've got an answer for you. Calafiore, you picked up a knock, no problem. If it wasn't you that could have played, we could have played Miles, Lewis Skelly. We could have played anyone. It doesn't matter what happens.
No, but you know what?
Okay, you're coming back from injury. Don't worry, take a
no stride. So you know what it is? You know what it is? It's kind of both, because on paper it's Spurs. It's 100%. It's a statement, and you know it's one of them. Like I said, when you beat Man United at the start of the season, it's one of them games where you look back at the end of the season and you say, yeah, like we played shit, but that 1-0 was the 3 points that we needed. So on paper, to me, it's a statement. But on the day, and when after like the first 10 to 15 minutes and the game starts to unfold, it's like again, I'm not even trying to be a hater or anything, but Hincapié, did he really have a test in that game?
The first 20 minutes.
That's what I said. Like,
Spurs, their game plan was going to plan. As in, they were hard to break down.
After like the first 15 minutes, though, after the first 15 minutes, that's when it started to unravel, and then you can see that this game is going to only end in one way. So, like I said, I think it's both. I think it is a statement win. It's a statement win because you're playing against a historic top 6 club, and it's a North London derby game. So that's always going to be a statement, and you're extending your lead at the top of the table. But then when you get to the brass tacks of it, Spurs weren't available on the day, and you spoke of Sunderland playing their game. They're like Spurs, there was no way that Spurs were ever going to mount that kind of challenge. And I'm trying to think, like, what could have Thomas Frank done differently for Spurs to actually get out Arsenal? Like you said, whether they went 5 at the back or 4 at the back or 3 at the back or 12 at the back, bro, this was a game where I was it was a bit comfortable for me to know that Arsenal were going to win this game.
Yeah, I mean, in the second half, he switched it up, innit? So obviously there was a tactical misstep, and he had to come at us, and that played into our hands anyway. If Spurs, the worst thing that could have happened is Spurs get that first goal. For the fact that we scored first, it folded any plan that they had in it. Folded, you know what I mean? Bobby, Eze, talk to me about Eze. Like, so Eze, he scored. He's owed it the.
Donnie, did he tell you that's his cousin? Eze's
no,
he's
not my cousin, you idiot.
He's not saying that, bro.
No, I've never said that, bro. I've never said that. I just said he's my Umbuse brother, innit? So,
all right.
Yeah, he's my Igbo brother, innit? That's all I've said.
Who?
Eze. Oh, what?
Who's
that? All right, Thomas Frank. Right. So first of all, I think we should start off by saying that whatever church Eze goes to, I need to know where that church is so I can go there as well. Because the way he's been praying, his prayers have been answered left, right, and centre. I think yesterday was one of them. It was one of them funny ones because he said that at the end of the game, he said that he prayed for a hat trick. And you can say it was capping or not, but he said he prayed for a hat trick and he got that. Yeah. And the way in which those goals came to him as well.
Fourth player in North London derby history to ever do
first in 42 years or something like that. Yeah. He's like he had a fantastic game. And I think that obviously the fact that he nearly went to Spurs in the summer, he was maybe only about 12 to 24 hours away from joining Spurs before he got that call from Arteta and he said, "Come home," innit?
I think he called Arteta. He called Arteta, said, "Yo, you sure you don't want me, Gaffer? You sure you don't want me?"
I've heard conflicting stories, innit? What I will say though is that he nearly went to Spurs, and then obviously his first North London derby, which he would have dreamed of from when he was a kid, because he's an Arsenal fan. You dream about scoring against Spurs. Do you know what I mean? And then he could have gone to them, his first derby, and he bags a hat. That's literally like we can all, even Darko, you can appreciate it if you're obviously being a Spurs boy. If your first ever derby was against Arsenal and you bagged the hattie in it, that's literally like all your Christmases come at once.
Yeah, we spoke about it before. Look,
yeah,
I've got no hard feelings. Like, I know there's certain Spurs fans out there that are like negative Eze at the minute, but I understood that. Look, he was an Arsenal fan. It was always going to go that way if he comes home. So, look, it had to be Eze. He played fantastically. I think he deserved.
I think he's also one of them. He's actually one of those guys in football where even as a rival fan, it's hard to hate him because he's so inoffensive. You know, he's always smiling. He's always giving thanks to God, giving praises and accolades to the right people. Even like when they tried to buoy him, saying that Foden gave him a world-class assist. You know, some other players might have screwed up their face or been there like, whereas my man just he knows how to regulate himself. And he even had presence of mind, even in his hat trick where he did the little duppy of Richarlison with a shirt on, shirt off thing that he did as well. He's got personality, and that's what we love to see. So, look, yesterday, like I think I said it in one of our group chats. I said I almost cried when Eze got the hat trick, because it was like just watching like my little brother or somebody really kind of like having his moment, you know, because I know he scored for England. I know he's got one FA Cup at Palace. I know whatever, but really, this is that was like a special moment for him yesterday, and I was pleased to be able to watch that. Going back to just the earlier point about the derby, as I said to you, Darko, before, like I was disappointed because a derby, no matter what, it should always be. But even when Liverpool play Everton, you're expecting it to be a bit of a rough one, to say the least, you know. And I'd been out on Saturday for my mate's 40th, so I was a bit worse for wear, lying in bed watching the game. And I always get that pang of anxiety before a big match, and I had it for about 5 minutes. And after that, I could comfortably watch the game, which was a terrible indictment of the derby. It was, because it's probably the worst North London derby I've ever watched in my life. As a spectacle, it was terrible. It was a terrible spectacle to watch. As in, what I mean by that is, obviously Arsenal were great. We bagged 4 goals. We could have had more. But so we were great in that respect. But the Spurs that turned up, they didn't have any fight, and only when they were 3 goals down did they even start leaving a foot in, which seemed petulant more than it did, more than it seemed like you had fight. Because if you start the first minute with a heavy challenge, we can all be like, all right, here we go. Whereas it actually seemed like only when the horse had already bolted, was when Spurs started to try and leave a foot in here and there. It was just weak to me, and it was just disappointing. And I'm sure it's worse for you, Darko, than it is for me. And I'm glad, honestly, I don't mind every derby being like that. But it was just...
Should Spurs feel hard done by Eze's first goal? I think it was. Should that have been ruled off for offside?
It should have been ruled off. But I think, as Dermot Gallagher says with our boy Jay Buffred, the problem is at the moment that there is too much of a discrepancy in what is and what isn't interference. So in that Eze goal, there was 2 guys in front of the keeper. The keeper couldn't see. That shouldn't have been a goal. But in the Liverpool game, I think it was Murillo. His chance also came through guys that were offside as well, and that was given. So both of those have been given. Liverpool have been hard done by when they scored against Man City, when Van Dijk scored, was it? And that was ruled out.
Donnarumma could see the ball as well. That's the only one where the keeper could see the ball.
Was it? There wasn't Van Dijk that scored it, was it? It was it that put it in the back of the net?
It was Van Dijk.
I think it was Van Dijk.
It was Van Dijk. Yeah, he put it in the back of the net, and it was ruled out. So I think it's one of them ones where if you get away with it, you're happy, and when you don't, you can always point to that. And the standard of refereeing in the league is like, look, one thing is, I'll say about VAR, it does help with a lot of situations, but when you are seeing the same things week after week being interpreted a different way, it actually makes VAR like something to hate on, because I think that obviously we still would have gone on to win that game yesterday. I still also believe that Nottingham Forest, the way Liverpool are playing, probably would have gone on to win that game anyway. But you just leave a margin. You leave a margin for people to point at and say when there shouldn't be. It's
funny because I agree on that, but with the Man City game, I feel like if we did equalize, it could have potentially been a different game. But
but the Man City game, what was the final score in that one again? Remind me.
3-0. 3-0, I want to say.
3, was it? Did you not get a goal?
I feel like
I feel like you did get a goal.
You're being nasty. You're being nasty. We'll get to Liverpool. Let him live, man. Let him live, man.
I wasn't even being nasty, but I was just saying, like,
no, he wasn't. He wasn't. That's why
I wasn't being nasty.
I wasn't being nasty. But if you want to trade, let's have it, bro.
There are moments in games where, you know, it does have an effect on the general, because Liverpool were competing in that game against City at that point, whereas Spurs yesterday didn't compete from minute 1 until even after Richard Arlison scored that crazy goal.
Why do you call him Richard Arlison, by the way?
Because
You know
he's not Brazilian. He's not Brazilian,
Yeah,
brother.
he's
Not
Kent,
Brazilian.
man.
I told you he's from
Yeah.
he's from
From Medway. Medway.
He's from the coast,
with-
so he's down Herne Bay way.
with a splash of Angola in him. I'm
Like,
telling you, the guy's not Brazilian. I refuse to accept it. So
But that was
like, you'll never hear me call him the Charlatan.
that was a class finish though. That was a class finish though.
Look,
It was probably going to be a goal in a season contender, man. Like it came
Bro,
out
it
of
made the
nowhere.
hate watch. It made the hate watch palatable, bro. Like literally,
Wow, man, why did-
as soon as he scored out the goal, I was out. I turned off.
The funny
Why
thing
did
is, did
Ryan
you know
dive
that
into the net like that?
Bro, that
I
sound
don't
effect was crazy.
it's horrible. But I don't like what is interesting though is that Zubimendi, I think he's been fantastic since he's joined us. Genuinely, I think he's a quality. He helps control the tempo. He knows when to give and goal. But they have said statistically, I think we've conceded 5 goals this season so far, and 3 out of the 5 we've conceded have come from a Zubimendi mistake or loss of possession. So it's one of them ones
they're
where
reaching with that. They're reaching with that a little bit because they're talking. Basically, I think he's given away a foul a couple of times, but one of them was. I think the Sunderland one. I'm more so put into. I'd lay blame at Declan Rice's doorstep. Did he give away the foul that where Zuboslai scored that screamer as well at Liverpool as well?
Yeah. I think it was.
That one's so far out, that I don't even know if it would contribute to the XG. Yeah, you're not expecting.
No, but the foul was unnecessary, though.
Yeah, it was unnecessary foul.
I get it, but I just feel like it's just one of those. I hear what you're saying, Raf, and I'm not like diminishing what you're saying, but I just feel like it's. I saw that tape, and I was like,
but he's got that Rodri thing in him. But he's got that Rodri thing in him where Rodri doesn't mind, like, if the team is looking to counter you quite quickly, Rodri doesn't mind just stepping in front of you and taking the yellow or the foul. And I think Zubimendi also has that in him where I think yesterday, I think he got booked yesterday for a cynical little trip as well. And I think that the thing is with the Premier League, especially now, it's become a lot more like every single set piece that Spurs took, like it was bloody Vicario taking free kicks from midway inside their half. Like, do you know what I mean? Like there was no playing it short and building it up. So where everyone's trying to dunk on everyone, some of those when they're unnecessary fouls, it looks worse when you then concede because everyone is playing hoofy hoof football now, where they weren't doing that a season or a season and a half ago. So that's where he's maybe got to be a bit more careful because all them little trips and nicks, if Vicario boots it in and Richard Arlison prods it on and then like Brennan Johnson pokes it in, that's annoying. That's annoying to concede, you know. But
no,
anyway,
I'm with you. Darks, obviously you guys have been spanked. Pause. How are you feeling about Thomas Frank's apology? Do you accept it?
Listen, what else can we do in it? I think he was very, very. I don't think he underestimated Arsenal, but I think he didn't realise that. Obviously, you guys are playing how it is for us.
I think he respected us too much. He respected us.
That's exactly what it was. That's exactly what it was. He gave too much respect. I would have liked to have seen him come in with a little bit of Arteta mind. The way that Arteta come in, like you said, he was very vague with it, didn't let out too much. I would like to have seen that. But listen, like I said, it's his first one. We go again. The next derby. Let's see some change.
Fair
but
enough,
I'll take his
enough.
apology. I'll take his apology. We've got there's still a job to be done. You know what? We move.
On a quick one, though. Sorry, Strauss. Can I ask a quick question? So on a quick one, like obviously looking at the way the season's going for Spurs at the moment, obviously Levy's gone, so the whole handbrake on the purse strings might be loosened up a bit now as well. Realistically, I'm looking. Do I pause that after you? That's did you say bust it wide?
That's it, bust it. But that purse strings bust it wide. He needs to spend.
Yikes!
Bust it wide. Let it out.
But I was gonna. That's crazy. But what I was gonna.
It's crazy.
Yeah. But what I was gonna say is, where like obviously now you've got a guy in charge who may be more free spending potentially. Spurs realistically, you need to be finishing in a European place this season to
Definitely.
be in a position to spend that money. So I guess the derby, as much as it is like a important game or whatever, let's just say we're a couple of seasons ahead of you, good few seasons ahead of you as a squad. I think as a Spurs fan, you'd probably be looking at, okay, we'll charge this. It's unfortunate to lose 4-1, but these aren't the matches that I expect you to. I expect you to try, but you don't. There's no shame in losing. Whereas it's
Away
your
from home.
Burnleys,
Yeah,
away from
derby,
home. It's your Burnleys, giving teams like Villa a good fight and all that kind of stuff to try and get yourself in a position to finish within the top 6, maybe, to give yourself a platform to work off of next season.
Definitely. It's his first season. We need that. It's so important that European football next season is so important to help us progress in the ways that Arsenal have, because like how long have you been with Arteta now? 8 years?
6.
Is it?
No.
6?
Yeah,
I thought it was
6.
6.
Look into 6.
6.
Yeah,
What is
6.
it? So 2000. No, it'll be 6 years in a month's time.
Yeah.
Listen,
in a month's time.
Obviously,
I'm being pedantic, but it's going to be 6 years.
What he's done is he's been consistent with it, whether it be second. I'd like to see Frank get to that position where he starts building a squad for himself and not coming off of that squad from Ange. I'd like to see what he does because he's got to start bringing in some players in the transfer window.
But do you charge the Champions League though? Do you charge it? Or because the thing is, I don't.
We're hanging in. We're hanging in there, innit? We're hanging in there.
Yeah, because I think is your squad like strong enough to fight? Because even like we used to do it, Arsenal used to do it where we'd make it to certain. We charge the League Cup. We just charge it. Sometimes we even charge the FA Cup to try and win the title. We always fell short, but we do know that our battle for the title maybe would have been significantly weakened if we put everything into those other things as well. So, in your quest to get a European finish, do you go do you just go for it with a Champions League and charge the rest, or because you can't do all of them? That's for sure.
No, you can't. Listen,
you can't charge Champions League. You have to. I mean, you're playing PSG next. These are Tottenham aren't in Champions League all the time. I know they had that stint when there was a little stint where Tottenham were better than Arsenal, like dare I say it. And there was that was a time when you were in the Champions League, but it's not something that Tottenham fans are used to. And if you scumbag your way into the Champions League by winning the Europa and finishing 17th, you got to make the most of it.
Listen.
Against PSG.
No. I disagree with that still, but it's gone.
So what you don't think? Go on, yeah. What was you going to say about it, Don?
Listen, we're not there all the time. I don't think we need to start pulling out the performance to be there again next season, because the performances like putting in at Arsenal, we're not going to get there. We're not going to get there. And sacrificed what he had to make sure that we won that file to be in the European. We've got nothing to lose, basically. If we're out, we're out. That's what is expected of us. But we need to keep that European, whether it be the conference or the Europa again. But we need to start getting that squad depth. We need to start building getting us used to this, playing these games, because these games ain't for everyone. These games ain't for everyone, mate.
No, Shrives, what I was saying that is because you have to remember they got invited to Europa League. You lot are saying scumbagging, but however you qualify. And the two clubs that are in the Europa League final, they're both on the same points, and in between 9th and 11th place. I think Liverpool, I'm with them. That's the only reason why I know this. So like they're on those points, yeah. So they progressed from where they finished. What was it, 17th?
17th, yeah.
They progressed from there, and right now this is where they're at. And right now, even United are losing. So my thing is that they're technically way ahead of schedule by being in the Champions League. It's not really a place for them. It's not a place for Man United. Right now, they should probably be in the Europa League trying to build on what they did last season. And so if they get knocked out of the Champions League and they qualify for Europa League, that will be more in line with where the team is in terms of their development on in there.
I don't think you
back
drop.
up
You
to.
don't drop into Europa League no more though. They've
No.
abolished
I'm
that,
saying
innit?
like,
So,
I'm saying drop into, but in terms
finishes.
of league position.
oh, okay. Yeah. No, well, I don't disagree with that in terms of like the stages of of progression, but they're in Champions League now. And if I was a Spurs fan, I wouldn't want to throw that opportunity. I'd want to go for it. You know what I mean? It'd be the Champions League and Premier League for me, and then FA Cup, and then everything else is surplus.
I do think quickly that sorry, on a quick one, I do think though that as much as because Arteta always gets gunned by people about the way he talks and the way he behaves, his antics, his novel ideas about this, that, and the rest. And I think that added to a lot of our banter tag that we got was the fact that Arteta was who and what he is. However, I think in the cold light of day, when you look at the team that he inherited, the types of personalities he had there, how disjointed it was. Some people wanted to kick balls, some people wanted to dance in the change room, some people wanted to just like do. I'm not going to pinpoint players directly, but we had people that were also like super woke and this, that, and the rest, and the team was all over the place, yeah. And Arteta, one of the first things he did, which all Arsenal fans kind of noticed, is what they get. Is stop it. But like say like even with Southgate, one of the good things he did for England is he broke up all the cliques and he made people see the one message. Arteta, even till now, is still working to make sure everybody understands what the process and what we're achieving. That's why they all have bought into it. That's why they're cheering every single challenge. They're patting each other on the back, dapping each other up. That he's created.
What you know of Arteta. What you know of Arteta, do you think he would be in the Champions League? If he was in a position where he was in the Champions League, are you suggesting that he would prioritize another competition?
No. What I say all this to say that I think where we have been bantered as a football club, Arsenal, I think the only point I'm trying to make now is that even so with Slot coming in with a new bunch of players he's got to make sure that the most crucial thing now, because everyone can play to a good level now, there's no bummy teams anymore. Even the smaller teams have got better quality players. So now it's all about making sure that you have your ethos, everyone kind of gets the message, everyone buys into that, and then you execute. And that's all we're seeing with Arteta at the moment. You're just seeing him give his message and want his team to execute, and that's it. And I think with Spurs at the moment, where you got the new gaffer in, he's a very good manager. It's sort of about getting rid of some of the personalities that don't work, or making people whose heads have turned a little bit turn back in the right direction. And I think that's all we're seeing at the moment. Even with Man City and Pep, we all know that Pep is one of the greatest managers out there, but where he's had to rewash his squad a bit, he's having to get these new guys to see what everyone else can see without losing the people that have already seen it. Do you know what I mean?
It's got to show the vision.
I agree.
So Arteta's now at his strongest point. So this is why it needs to stick and land now, because he's at his. I think the message is well and truly hammered home.
I agree, but I don't understand how not being in the Champions League would aid that rather than being. I think being in the Champions League would aid delivering that message. You want
realistically, what will Spurs do in the Champions League though? That's
what I'm saying. You don't
exactly.
That's
what you got to think.
It doesn't matter though. But if we're talking about what Bobby's talking about, basically, we're talking about breeding a mentality. We're talking about breeding potential winners. We're talking about building an ethos, which you start as you mean to go on. You're now in the competition that you want to compete in. So this is a perfect place to weed out who you don't want. And to keep who you do.
I'm not saying throw it away. What I'm saying is, this cannot be your. I'm not saying throw it away and just play kids and all this stuff. I'm saying, yes, give it your best shot, but at the same time, that this isn't your this
priority.
Isn't like a real priority or a real possibility.
I just think tactically. Yeah, but tactically, he just has to cut out the misstepping. I think he just has to be a bit more braver. He's got attacking options. He hasn't got that killer instinct that he had once in Son and Harry Kane, but he's definitely got enough to put up a better performance than what he did at Arsenal. But I don't want to stay on North London derby too much because there's a lot to get through, and we still need to discuss Liverpool. So I want to give the floor to Joey here at this.
Sorry, just a quick one. Sorry, Strives, just a quick one. You said that they.
no quick one.
You said
bro.
that Spurs have got the quality. Are you
Let's just
sure?
get straight to
Right.
Liverpool.
Cool,
I don't want to.
cool.
Let's just get straight to Liverpool. Let's get straight to Liverpool. You guys. Obviously, the international break gave you a little bit of reprieve where you just lost 3-0 to Manchester City, and it was an opportunity for you guys to obviously right that wrong. We spoke about it last week on the episode, and I think you were quietly confident that you should get a result against Nottingham Forest, especially being at Anfield. But instead, Nottingham Forest turned out 3-0 winners, and it is, I think, I don't think
6 out of 7.
Liverpool. It's 6 out of 7 losses, cool. But I don't think Liverpool have lost by 3 or more goals in succession like that's for the last 40 or so years or something like that. I can't remember. I saw a stat somewhere, but it's been a long time since that's happened, basically. And then obviously you've now lost 6 out of your 7 games. You've played 12 and you've lost 50% of the games. Is this well and truly a crisis? And I always ask you, how much credit does Arne Slot have left? Are you at the point where you are starting to question whether where he's spending his credit a little bit too quickly?
Yeah, he's definitely blowing a bag a day at least, man. I'm not really understanding what's happening at the club. I saw an interview, Talksport, Graham Souness was coming in, and he was saying he was blaming the players, like saying like, really and truly, what is Arne Slot doing different from last season that is causing such a big impact on players to not be performing, like Konate, VVD, all of these guys? And that was a good question, to be fair. But at the end of the day, when the players are winning and when the team's doing well, people are praising Arne Slot for coming into the Premier League in his first season and doing all of that stuff. So, like, we have to use the same logic to now chastise him for how badly it's going, to be completely honest, man.
Jules, is it going bad since you guys went Ibiza or Dubai or wherever he took you guys to after you won the title?
What? What's going on there, bro?
No, remember, no, genuine question.
Are you battering me?
No.
Battering me, mate,
brother. Last season, you guys won the title. You guys won the title, and your form has literally nosedived since you officially won it.
No,
it was a bit shoddy before, but since you won it, and he took you man away to wherever he took you man to, and the season wasn't done yet. But he took you man away to celebrate winning, and then it's almost like since then your form has been patchy. You haven't been the same.
We did discuss this maybe about 2 weeks ago. My thing is, I can't. Maybe that's the case. Maybe it's not the case. Maybe that only happened because the players had won. They secured the trophy in it, and then they took their foot off the gas. Whether it's because they went on holiday or whether the manager encouraged it or not is I can't really say. And it's pretty much irrelevant, to be completely honest, because Liverpool aren't the first team to have won the league quite early, and then the team has taken the foot off the gas. It's happened before, and then other teams have come in, and like the next season they haven't started the season as badly as we have, innit? Bearing in mind we were winning games, but we were still playing poorly. So, like, how do you actually reference it in terms of like the performances or the results? Because the results were decent at the start of the season. Remember, people were saying that Arsenal haven't got a chance of winning the league and Liverpool have won it already until you beat Newcastle. So,
but I'm contrary to Strives, though, where Strives earlier talked about Arsenal not having as much of a challenge last season as the ones before and whatever else. Yes, factually that's true, but contextually, and I know everyone hates to do it these days. It seems like excuses FC and all that kind of stuff. But Arsenal didn't play with a recognised forward from January. Wait. We don't want to hear violence from last year. No. Let me land. We didn't play with recognised forward from January through to like mid-April when Havertz came back. We didn't have Martinelli. We didn't have Jesus. We didn't have any recognised forward. Obviously, Odegaard's form was patchy. Saka was injured throughout that period as well. MacAllister went off injured. MacAllister went off and missed both of our legs against PSG and all that as well. So I say all that to say that even Merino now that we're seeing now that can do the job that we want up front. He was also very much like, it was his first time ever playing up front. Do you know what I mean? And the whole team was kind of just disjointed. So I felt like we didn't lose a lot of games. We actually just drew a lot where we just couldn't get those games over. So for me, I feel that like
Bobby, you know that we didn't have a striker last season, didn't it? Like Darwin Núñez was there, but he didn't play last season.
But that's not a choice. That's not a choice.
That's my point.
That's not a choice.
Yeah, but you lot had strikers in the reserves team that you could have played, but you didn't want to play them out of choice. So like it doesn't matter whether
that's crazy.
No, my point is you guys played the team that you chose to play in it. Like, but we don't want to hear about injuries because every team had injuries. That's why we're not talking about it. Gakpo's not a striker. He played up front last season.
But wait, there's a difference between having an injury to. So hang on, let's say this: the season before that, when Man City won it, you guys are top of the league until April, and then you lost Salah and Van Dijk, and your season fell apart. Just two players.
But do you hear me complaining about it? I haven't mentioned it once. It doesn't matter. The fact is that I'm not like Arsenal fans said, isn't it?
Of course, but what I'm saying is it's not about whether we would have won it or not. I'm just saying there was a mitigation to it. I'm not saying we definitely would have beaten you to it.
No, but you deem it as mitigation. I don't deem it as mitigation because everybody deals with injuries. Everybody in it. You have to manage it. That's the whole point of being a manager. You have to manage your resources with injuries that come into the team, and you have to make the most of it.
But that's why. But why are we talking about no? Because then when you have the finances to have squad depth, then squad depth becomes the mitigation for that, which we didn't have. Therefore, if we didn't have that,
you've always had finances for squad depth. You've always had that. You like the same way we have as well. But our boy just doesn't spend any money.
Look, the crux of it is, look, last season. I feel like our team got decimated.
Hey, what's scandal? Why are you letting him talk about last season, bro? Why are you letting him talk about Arsenal last season?
Only because he mentioned it last season.
Crazy.
Only because he mentioned it earlier.
He actually started by saying he didn't agree with me. So to be fair, I'm just in fact, I thought it was growth in letting him, get his opinion.
Okay, yeah. Okay, well, thanks for bringing out the violins again, even though you're top of the league. You can't make your stuff up, bro.
No. All I'm saying is that I always look at that, and that's for everything. I look at the context of a lot of things, even like Liverpool this season, and many teams. Like you're, to be fair, something you said to me separately from all of this is, when bad decisions happen. They happen to everybody, but it just when it happens to you, it seems like it's only you. And we've discussed, and I've said that we shouldn't have had a goal this weekend. The goal against you shouldn't have stood. I do think we should have had a couple of penalties this season that weren't given because they said contact with the ball. So I get it all balances out, but I genuinely do think that injuries they're not something to. The modern fan, I think we've weirdly come to a place where you could be missing 4 of your best players. And those 4 best players are the fulcrum of your team, and but it's not an excuse, but it is an excuse because
it is. Only Joey will say that. Only Joey will say that.
Do you know why? Because I'm only in pursuit of fairness, innit? So my thing is that I can't make rules for everybody based off of context and based off of individual issues, innit? Like obviously injuries are going to hamper your season. But my thing is that I can't now say, well, we have to go easy on Arsenal last season because they had 7 injuries. And then we have to go easy on Liverpool in 1946 because they had 12 injuries. Nobody cares about that. They just care about where did you finish in the league and did you do well with the money that you have as a club, with your stature as a club, and with the players that you had as a club. So if here's the question: no, you didn't do well. Then your grandson doesn't want to hear about what happened back then. Jules, you know what I mean?
But Jules, the question becomes: if you guys missed 7 of your best like we did last season, and you finished second in the Premier League.
Yeah,
no threat to that position realistically, and semi-final of the Champions League. Is that a bad season?
No, I agree with you. It's not a bad season with the context, but I can't do context for every single team in the league. All right, so that's why I have to just paint everybody with the same brush, basically.
I derailed it. Go on, Strauss.
To your question, though.
Yeah, go for it. Because I was gonna say I feel like Bobby had a bone to pick with you elsewhere and decided to take it
bro.
to do a bit live on air.
It was an
interesting listen.
But with Slot, he's got credit. I heard something about him potentially conversation. Indy Kyler. Obviously, he had a bad run. People wrote him off. But last season he had a stormer. So and then he had another stormer this season when he mentioned that Semenyo is going to be available, and then people were cussing me when I posted it. but he said that the talk at Anfield or FSG is that he's Slot's got till January to make something happen. If that's true, I think that's fair. I think that's
okay.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Me personally, no, I'm not in agreement with it, but I can't frown upon FSG if that's actually true, innit? Me personally, I get the context. Like, we're talking about context in it, and whether you give context. The context of him is that he's delivered our second Premier League in 30 plus years. Like, you don't. That's not something you scoff at, innit? Like, people are talking about he did it with Jurgen Klopp's inherited team. Jurgen Klopp didn't do it. Jurgen Klopp didn't do it, bro. So if somebody's coming in and doing it with Jurgen Klopp's inherited team, then Jurgen Klopp has to take his hat off to Arne Slot, innit? So, like, for us to then say your credit is done, we're getting rid of you, it's a bit short-sighted. But you can do that if you have somebody there that you know is going to be the bollocks. If not, why are you wasting your time?
Speaking of credit and speaking of context and nuance, and I know I've mentioned this on previous episodes. I've spoken about what I find to be naivety from Arne Slot in regards to the way he approaches press conferences and kind of his verbal diarrhea, so to speak. And I bring that up now because he has spoken a lot about or complained a lot about opposition and sometimes kind of giving away.
He's not complaining once. He's not complaining once, Trav. He's only spoken on it.
In my opinion, he's complained a lot. And not only has he complained, he's almost given the blueprint. This is how you beat us. Go long to play the ball in the air. And I think even Sean Dyche actually admitted that all he did to beat the press was just went long. He basically and which is why I say context and nuance in regards to Arne Slot's job being at risk. If there's truth in what you're saying that his job's at risk by January, I think the context and nuance would be that he has shown immense tactical naivety, and he's also been quite naive in the way that he's approached.
How though?
Because if you're basically telling everybody how to beat you and everyone's using it and beating you with it, then you're an idiot.
Well, he's not telling everyone how to beat it. But Stravs, I'm not a coach. I've got no FA level coaching badges or nothing, and I can tell you how to beat Liverpool is by going route one, bro. Well, I don't understand why you keep saying he's giving you the blueprint.
But what if I didn't know that? What if I don't have the intelligence to read that for myself?
Why are you managing Nottingham Forest? You shouldn't be managing Nottingham Forest if you can't see how every team that's beaten Liverpool has beaten them that way. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand when you say he's giving out the blueprint.
For a manager to come out and admit it and is basically saying, "Oh my God, you got me. Here's my weak point." You're basically saying, "All right, well, thank you. I'm going to keep doing it then."
No. Do you know what it is? It doesn't look right, but factually, everybody knows that. Like, you don't like if he didn't say come out in a press conference and say, "Oh, I'm really struggling with these balls over the top." What do you think all the managers going to say? "Oh my God, how am I going to play against Liverpool on Saturday?" No, they're clearly going to watch videos and see how Liverpool have been beaten every game in it. So while I agree, it doesn't read well and it doesn't look great, but factually, it doesn't make a difference.
I'm just saying, could that context and nuance lend towards his job potentially being at risk?
No, not at all, bro. The only thing that lends is that we've lost 6 out of the last 7, bro. That's all that matters. Whether he's talking rubbish in the press conference or not, all that matters is, are you getting the results? Like, I don't think Liverpool care about what's being said in the press conference. They only care about results, bro. And I think any team that would have an issue with that, like it doesn't. It's a bit nonsensical because you don't lose games because of what you say in the press conference. You lose games because your players don't show up on the pitch and you make the wrong decisions during the games.
But Joey, who gets sacked first? Who gets sacked first? Is it Amorim or Slot? Because United had just lost 1-0 to 10 men Everton. So who gets sacked first?
You could do what you want at United. There's no sacking there.
Interesting stat, though.
3 years, bro.
Interesting stat. With that loss, though, that is Amorim's 16th loss in 2025, and Liverpool's now lost 17 times in 2025. So I don't know, make of that what you will. And also another interesting stat, the one that I was trying to remember, Liverpool losing by 3 or more goals back to back, first time since 1965. I remember now. Darko, you've been a bit quiet.
Well, what are you thinking? I'm just listening.
No. I hear it, man. These guys, we're used to going at it. So yeah, you just have to try and get a word in edgeways sometimes. But what I wanted to ask you, obviously, I know that you're a Totty fan, but you're a footy lover first and foremost. What
Yeah,
have you
come on.
made of the individual performances at Liverpool? Are they because okay? I want to start off by saying Arne Slot. Yes, he's culpable for a lot, but are the players also culpable? How much stock do you put in the individual performances and the players? Like, I want to reference Isak at this point. Isak, like, he had if I dare say so myself, he had a stinker and he got hooked. Like, what responsibility do you put on the players? Wirtz, for instance, he's been bought for a record-breaking a figure. What stock do you put on these players to perform? And MacAllister, who was immense last season, he's not been performing at the level this year. Like, what is there a lot that can be said to the individual performances? Are they letting them down? Is there any players that you have thought of at Liverpool that have you thought, no, this guy is taking a piss?
I think there's always that stigma around when it comes to the pricing of how much a player costs and their pressures to perform. But look, listen, you've gone to Liverpool, you've gone to a top side. You need to show that's what you're here. And I haven't seen the performances. He hasn't had the time, Isak. I know we all say he's had a stinker, but how many minutes has he played for Liverpool? Like, he's still getting used to the team. I think it's a big pressure on these players that I mean, Gravenbach, he's had a pretty good start to the season. I thought I've watched him, but it's all about the gelling. There's still, what I wanted to ask you was when you said about the inheritance from a Klopp side. Do you think now that Slot is being found out more because he's having to make his own players? He's got new players that he's got to make gel, because they don't all gel together. All players, you have to work at it. I think Arteta's been great at doing that and making how he brought Declan into the Arsenal team as if he'd been there for 10 years. The same way he done with Trossard when you guys took Trossard. It takes time. I wanted to know your opinion on that, on what if you think Slot is being found out now.
Yeah, is he being found out? It's a good question. My thing is that because I've seen what happened last season and what he's done with a team that isn't his team, and he's gone in there like that. Like, make no mistake, that's not every manager can do that, innit? It's just not like, for example, I don't think that Sean Dyche can go to Liverpool last season and win the league. I don't think that, like, even a lot of top Premier League managers that are at good clubs, they can't do the same thing either. So I can't just ignore that. Yeah, I can't just ignore that. But right now, what we're seeing is unmistakably bad. Like, there's no two ways about it. Like, for example, just some of the simple decision making. Why is Isak, who you've come out and you said he's not fit, why are you starting him over Ekitike, who's been your best attacking player? Why is we ain't got any right backs? You keep on playing Soboslai right back because he had a good game against Arsenal. He was decent against Newcastle. This guy's come out and said, I don't want to play right back. Like, I'll do it for the club, but I don't want to play. MacAllister's stinking. Wirtz hasn't hit the ground running. So play Soboslai, who's been one of the best players this season. Play him in his position. And then why don't you play Joe Gomez in right back? You're going to say, yeah, he gets injured all the time, but play him till he gets injured, innit? And then have another pro player. Konate's been stinking. Play Joe Gomez in centre back so that Konate is not comfortable to think that I can stink and continually stink and still play football, bro. Like, he's made it quite comfortable for these guys that did okay last season to stink this season and be comfortable while stinking. So yeah,
is that Slot's fault? Is that Slot's fault though, or is it the players' fault? Because you mentioned a couple of the in.
Sorry, it's both.
What about
okay. Yeah, it's both. But I think, like, at the end of the day, this is Slot's team. It's Slot's changing room. if you're coming in and you're letting people stink and be comfortable in the fact that they know they're going to start in the next game, Mo Salah, for example, people are coming onto Cody Gakpo now. If these guys can like stink and then next week, no, I'm going to have another opportunity to stink, and guess what? Nobody's going to displace me. And the stinking's going to continue, innit? Like even like Virgil right now, but like he's the one who's been tasked with picking up these guys and motivating them. Like he's a manager, bro. Like, yeah, I'm a senior player and I'm the captain, bro. Like, I'm gonna do my job, but it's not my job to motivate every single player. It's the manager's job, innit? So, like,
and do you think that
he's getting found out a bit? To answer your question,
and do you think though that as the captain, though, although you're saying it's not his job, I disagree somewhat. I do feel like he has. I mean, if you've been tasked with being the captain, I think you have a duty to make sure the morale on the pitch is, the morale on the pitch is where it needs to be. Like I see him complaining a lot. I see him. He seems to be quite like, I don't know. He seems to be like he likes to make it very palpable that it's not me, it's you. And I don't know that.
No,
it reminds me a little bit of Bruno Fernandes a little bit.
No, you can't say that, Shaz, because that's Bruno Fernandes is probably the worst in terms of when things aren't going right. But what I will say about Virgil, he has a high standard that he expects from players, and when he's not getting it from players, he makes it very clear. The one thing is that it's hard to do when you're stinking too, bro.
Yeah,
As a centre back, I'll stand by that, bro.
I think for me, the one difference this season for Liverpool has been the fact that usually going into most seasons, the noise around the club isn't. They do all their business quite quietly, quite quickly, and it's just a very smooth business and everything. Like you don't really know too much about nothing. Whereas this summer it was Trent going, which took up a lot of Trent palaver. Then it was Will Salah and Van Dijk sign. Then it became the Isak show, where even his form is probably going to be affected by the fact that the summer was terrible for. Even though they got what they wanted in the end, it was a horrible way to get it. Then you're talking about Florian Wirtz as well, where he's another guy that came in for over 100 M's as well. So Liverpool ain't splashed dough like that, and they haven't had that much noise around their club prior to a season starting. So where it's now not working out perfectly, the noise around it is even louder, because obviously everyone, like you hear people like Simon Jordan going, I'm glad this is happening to Isak. I'm glad he's having a tough time. Florian Wirtz? I know, but I say it to say
I get where he's coming from.
But I say to say where the media has their narrative around you, you spent money like crazy. How can you spend almost 500 M's and be where you're at now? Or were you better off? Is Frimpong even a right back? Kirkes, you thought he was the best left wing. He was the best left back in the Premier League last season, arguably. You got him, and he actually looks worse than the guy that you had before, arguably. So I think there's so much noise around Liverpool just in general that every single time there's a misstep, it's exacerbated because there was already conversations happening before. And I think that all Liverpool needs to do is quieten the noise down. Slot needs to impose his.
Klopp needs to come back as well.
No. Sorry, their names are too similar, but Slot needs to try and find a way to reimpose him, like re-establish the quiet at the club and get everybody's heads back in the same place. And because the thing is, Liverpool aren't even playing terrible football on the ball. They're not looking terrible. No. Because from what
I've got to disagree with that as well, man.
From what I've seen, I think it's marginal. It's marginal what I've seen. Maybe they're not running as hard as they used to, and whatever else. But I don't think they're. I don't think they're miles off it. They're not miles off it.
That's huge. That's the nucleus of Liverpool's team. Like intensity is everything that makes up what Liverpool is.
But you're also not miles off it.
No, we are miles off it, man. We are, Bobby, because like Arne Slot said, like when I sign a player, I look for somebody with quick directional change, like agility. Can you go left, right, quick, change direction, beat your man. High intensity and high work rate. I'm not seeing that from anybody on the pitch, bro. The only person I've been seeing that from is Gravenberch, bro. And like,
but the loss of form
and Joey, they're so easy to beat.
Yeah, it's bro. That's the one thing is that like it takes one pass, bro. One pass to beat to bypass our whole midfield.
Yeah, man.
Our midfield stinks right now, bro.
It's crazy because even that pass that set up. Who was it that was running on the right wing and then he chopped him? He chops Robertson. took the
Is
shot
it
and then
Jesus?
and probably, but it was just too. It's just too easy, man. It's just too easy. This brings me on to my next question. Yeah, I want to ask everyone. Obviously, Liverpool are the reigning champions. Yeah, this has probably been one of the worst title defenses that we've seen in, at least in our football consciousness. Yeah. I don't know what to be 18
No, I think
points after 12
the
games.
Leicester one. I think the Leicester one might have been worse. You know, still.
Yeah,
They're about the same now, to be
But
honest.
yeah.
Boy.
We have to wait to the end of the season to confirm, bro.
I'm trying to think. Was Leicester 18 points after 12 games? I think it was Manchester United when Alex Ferguson left and David Moyes took over. Was that 18 points after 12 games? Like, this could be one
I
of
don't
the
believe it was.
worst title defenses of all time, bro. Because I'm trying to think, when I think about title defenses, Leicester's one, like you've mentioned, but they lost N'Golo Kante, they lost to certain some players. Manchester United, when they ended up finishing 7th, that was a new manager in David Moyes. Chelsea, I suppose they had a bad title defense when they won and then ended up finishing 10th. And funny enough, that was a season I think Leicester won the league. Liverpool, I think you've always said Liverpool don't tend to defend their titles well, but this is bad. And I just wanted to ask the boys here: do you think? Obviously, I've reeled off what I compare these poor title defenses with. Would you put this up? Would you rank this as one of the poorest title defenses? And second question: is it over? Have they lost the title already, or can they come back into it?
It's too early. It's sorry for me. Like I'm being gaslit at the moment in other group chats. Like I showed Jules, I did show you that as well from my former colleague, where like people were saying to me like, "Oh, but from here now, because you've won this, Arsenal, you're like 6 points, 9 points, whatever, clear. You should win it from here." And my reply is always, the season for me doesn't start until those fixtures just before Christmas. Like just before Christmas and that Christmas period going into the new year where it gets a bit more hectic. I think that's where I think that the season really kind of shows you who's who and what's what. Now Liverpool obviously off the boil at the moment, but you win a couple of those fixtures in around that period, your chest puffs out again and you can go with that energy for quite some time. I think that it's far too early to write Liverpool off completely. I think it's going to be very tough for Liverpool to go back to back, but I do think that it's far too early. Like obviously between now and Christmas, if they start shipping loads more points, I'll say charge it. But for now, them, City, everybody right now, Arsenal obviously do look strongest, but it's so hard to maintain that for another 6 months. So
it's far too early.
Far too early.
But
far too early.
I think what the next couple of games, your fixtures coming out is going to be a big time for Slot. He's going to have the pressures.
We got easy games to beat. Well, technically, there's no easy games in the Prem, but we got West Ham. We got Sunderland. Yeah, we got Leeds, West Ham, Sunderland, Leeds. Really and truly, these were bankers on paper, innit? So if Slot doesn't come through that, then the writing's on the wall. But just to answer Strife's question, I do think we're out of the title race. Like losing 6 games in a season, maybe like back in the 80s, you could have lost 6 games and won the league, bro. But you don't lose 6 out of 7 in such quick succession and then go the rest of the season unbeaten, because that's what it would take. I can't see that happening at all, man. So I'm going to say we're out. And I think if, for example, if Arsenal were doing what Liverpool were doing, I would confidently say you're done. I feel like that's the same for Liverpool right now.
Of course.
I think Liverpool are done personally. I think they've lost the title already, and that's the quickest title defense I've ever seen. But anyway, Newcastle have gone on to beat. Sorry, I had to laugh. Newcastle have gone on to beat Manchester City 2-1, and obviously that Manchester City also, a lot has been said. I even saw Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank arguing with some fans on some show. I think that Sky do. It wasn't an overlap, but it was something similar. But Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank was basically talking towards Manchester City's ability to go on winning runs, and he was doubting namely Arsenal's ability to do so, which I don't understand because Arsenal exhibited that they could do it in the 23-24 season. But I bring that up to say, are we seeing a different Manchester City now? And should we kind of forget about the Manchester City that we knew to be impenetrable? Is this Manchester City that's now in transition, and Manchester City that you might have to just kind of come to terms with without Rodri in the middle, with this over-reliance on Haaland's goals? That
No, De Bruyne.
could it be?
De
Bruyne, yeah. Could it be a little bit too much of an ask for Manchester City to be that of old and push the Arsenals and, like Bobby and Darko saying, maybe even Liverpool, if you're not ruling them out, push them all the way? Or am I over sensationalizing it? Am I being a bit dramatic? Is this just a blip that every team has, and is City still right in it with us?
There's definitely still there's a transition going on there. Like you said, they're missing some key players of the past that delivered when they needed to. So, but I think we're all, like you say, it's so early. We're still doing Christmas times. We'd be silly to think that they haven't got something up their sleeve. You know what? Pets are magic, man.
But what about their defense?
Yeah, we definitely have to recognise that they're in a transition. There's something going on there. I personally don't see Pep at the club past his contract, which I believe, did he sign an extra 3 years or so, a year and a half or so? I think that dawn is coming to an end.
I do think it's a make or break season for Arsenal, though. In regards to this is it. Like, when I say that, I think that we've seen teams like Spurs, when Spurs were better than Arsenal, and they'll get into finals of Champions League and running titles relatively close, and they didn't ever get across the line at that point. And a lot of their better players ended up leaving because there was nothing that they couldn't. They tried their best and it didn't work. I do think what we're seeing now is a Man City side that is in transition. Yes, we're seeing a Liverpool side that are trying to work it out as well, and Arsenal are now like seizing the opportunity, it seems a bit at the moment, to kind of get a bit of distance. I feel like if Arsenal fail to deliver the title this season, I do think the wheels might fall off a little bit, because you can't get as close as we have for how long we have and not deliver while these teams are working things out. You know, because City will come back and Liverpool definitely will. Liverpool aren't going away. And obviously, teams like Man United and Chelsea are not quite at it like they used to be. Spurs are obviously off it at the moment. So all the traditional guys are working it out. Whereas, like I said, Arteta's got the guys all on the same hymn sheet, all understanding what he wants. This is the time, this is the season that you need to win the title. If not, I don't want to be one of those guys that sounds faceless, but I think that would be it.
To be honest with you, there's a lot of gooners that will probably share that opinion with you. Just on Manchester City's exploits, were they a bit unlucky though? Should Foden have had a penalty?
Yeah, he should have.
Yeah, 100%.
It was a pen. It was a pen, man. But like,
that's the game, man. You know,
just charge it to the game.
Yeah, bro. Like, everybody's been unlucky. They've been lucky. We can't really dwell on those things, man. Like, what you need to be dwelling on is, what's the problem at Man City? The problem at Man City is that the defense is quite easy to bypass as well. I'm saying that tongue in cheek because we couldn't bypass it that easily when we played them. But well, Baltimore, they had loads of chances in that game, bro. He could have, obviously, Donnarumma doing business. But I said that Man City aren't going to come back. It's where they dropped to last season, and not in terms of like league position, but in terms of performance wise. You can't make that up in a year, and that's my worry with Liverpool is, are we going to be able to make it up within a year, or will we get the players in that need to complete our transition? Because Man City have spent a lot of money, bruv. That's another thing. Obviously, Liverpool spent way more in one summer. That's why it looks a bit crazy. But Man City have been spending money trying to recreate what they had prior to De Bruyne and all that, and it's not going well.
True. Well, I mean, City have got, obviously, after they got Leverkusen, which might be a tricky game, but after the Champions League game, quite like yourself, their run of fixtures isn't the worst. They got Fulham, Leeds, and Sunderland. Not in that order. I think it's actually Leeds, Fulham, and then Sunderland. So there's the capability for both of you guys to go and run. And obviously, Arsenal's got Chelsea next, who also they ran out 2-0 winners against Burnley. They look defensively solid. They look like they're now trying to say, "Yo, you guys seem to be mucking around. Maybe we should step up and compete for this title." But I mean, I don't know if any of you guys caught the Chelsea and Burnley.
Yeah, I
game.
did.
What do you
them
make
at all,
of their? You don't believe in?
No.
Okay,
No, they're frauds. They're frauds, man.
Is that because of the because I noticed obviously they play with a younger team, and some of their decision making in the final third can leave a lot to be desired. Was that what you picked up on, or is it something deeper than that?
No. Yeah, no. Maybe it's because they didn't have Caicedo in the team, but I'm just looking at their and Cole Palmer obviously, but I'm just looking at their best players on the day, and it's Enzo Fernandez. I don't think he played that well, but he was getting all the plaudits in that game. I think Burnley had the run of them, but obviously Burnley are a toothless team, innit? So if they come up against another team, well, I mean, we saw it against Nottingham Forest where the same thing happened. Nottingham Forest were playing terribly at the time, conceding set pieces, but they had them up in that game as well, innit? So I think what Chelsea have been meriting from is the same thing what Liverpool was meriting from at the beginning of the season. We're playing rubbish, but we have people who can actually make a difference, and we're playing teams that don't usually make the difference. Chelsea are benefiting from that now, and it's not going to last long unless the players do click into gear at some point. Their benefits are Caicedo, Esteval, Cole Palmer coming back, and maybe João Pedro hitting some form, but I wouldn't bank on it.
Maresca seems to be managing minutes for some of the players like Reece James. He seems to. Are you encouraged? Yeah. I was going to say they've got tough games coming up. Barcelona, then Arsenal. So, is as equally a tough week for them as it is for Arsenal, and we're on a collision course for this Sunday, aren't we? So, that'll be an interesting game, man. And I personally think it is an important game for both sides, man. Chelsea, we want to kill this run that Arsenal had are building on them, where we seem to keep beating Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, or at least taking something from them. And Arsenal will want to kill any chance that Chelsea could emerge as surprise title contenders, and obviously we'll want to get the win and obviously keep up the pressure and the lead on Manchester City and Liverpool. Right.
Sorry, who's it a bigger game for, in your opinion?
I think it's a bigger game for Arsenal, obviously. It's always a bigger game for the league leaders. Always a bigger game for the league leaders. And as Bobby touched on, Manchester United's just lost again, man. Shit. They've just lost again. This was an opportunity for Manchester United to maybe catapult themselves into the top 4. They just had to win by 3 goals or more. I say that as if it's an easy feat, but they've just lost to Everton, who were down to 10 men after like 13 minutes. So obviously we ain't.
Wait, do you know why they got a red card? Do you know why they got a red card, right?
Well, it's something to do with the players, wasn't it? The 2 Everton players.
It's just the Ghana Gay and the Michael Keane. Like, I think there was like a sloppy pass out, and then Man United had a shot or whatever, and then Ghana screamed at him. They shoved each other, and I think he pushed or slapped Ghana Keane in the face. And then, but to be fair, it wasn't even that. This was like real like handbags. It wasn't really like proper. Like, to be honest, even Gary Neville and all them guys were saying it shouldn't have been a red card, but the ref gave it, and Everton were down to 10, and they still managed to then get the winner, which is, and they had not even, but the winner was scored with, but scored with bare time to go as well, with bare time.
Yeah, it was. Manchester United looked like they were pressing the issue a little bit, and but they looked wasteful in front of goal, man. And Broma didn't look, because I was, as much as we were recording, I had it on in the screen in front of me as well, and Broma didn't look like he was playing to his usual sharpness. And Xerxes, he had a good chance on goal, but outside of that, I think Mason Mount may have as well. But yeah, United, man, it was toothless, man. It was toothless, and I think it tells a story. United, Liverpool, and Tottenham being on the same points at this stage of the season, and all their performances just seem to be synonymous of each other. If you don't mind me saying, Joey and Darko.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been on par.
But I think that's to do with the fact that these teams can't get like it's a bit like what I was saying about the harmony in the squads. Because Man United win a game and suddenly Amarim's they're going, see, I told you we have this, we got this, blah, blah, blah. But then next week it's a stinker. You know, I think
he didn't say that. No, he didn't say that. He said, say what you've been saying about me. Carry on saying what you
But I think that, like, you know, you got to, you know, real G's move in silence like lasagna. You know what I mean? Like, you got to, you know, some of these teams, you just got to like, you just got to like. I think it's all about like where you're at. All these teams are building in different stages of the build, but they're all doing their thing. And I think that the best thing for all of them right now is to kind of work out on the team. The team harmony just seems to be missing for me from all of them. Because even United today, when they were a goal down, they still played 5 at the back against 10 men. Yeah. Like, what are you doing, big man? Like, you're not even really trying at that point, which means there's a big problem. Because we all know where our team's down to when we're a man up and we're against a team that we should be beating. You know, in the last 20 minutes, you just throw all strikers on and go hell for leather. If you're not doing that, it tells you you're far off it. You're miles off it. And he doesn't trust them. He doesn't trust them. So, yeah, there's work to do, man.
Definitely. All right, man. Well, we're at the point, where we go to the back pages. So, Darko, I know you've listened to the pod, but this is your first time on the pod, so I'll explain it for you. And for any new listeners that might be tuning for the first time, the back pages is where we shine a light on anyone. It doesn't even have to be strictly football as well. It could be any industry, just anyone you want to shine a light on that has done something that is praiseworthy, that you think deserves to be on the back pages. Think of your newspaper, you turn to the back, and it's a highlight of something that's happened in the past week. I will kick it off. I'm saying I'll kick it off, even though I haven't got one in mind. So I'm thinking as we speak right now. But yeah, I think I'm gonna give mine. You know who I'm gonna give my back pages to? I'm gonna give my back pages to 2 people, if you don't mind. Actually, honorable mention to Benavides. Yeah, Benavides for the destruction of Anthony Yard. I particularly enjoyed the 18 hit combo. And you know what? I actually like Yard. He's an Arsenal fan as well, man. But you know what, man? Enough's enough. But my back pages is going to David Haney because I love that guy, man. I love it. I love the way he's talks up for him. I love that build up. And yeah, I respected that win, man. He went up against Brian Norman, who was meant to be the killer of the welterweight division, and Devin Haney looked like the killer in that fight. So yeah, I'm giving my back pages to him. Joey, obviously I'll let the guests go after us, give them a chance to figure out who their back pages are. Who's yours?
Yeah, yeah, mine is going to. You know what? I'm gonna free up this guy. I'm not gonna choose that one because obviously I'll let Arsenal fan have it still.
Thank you.
I'll let Arsenal fan have it. Mine will go to. Actually, just had one. Cristiano Ronaldo, bro, because obviously McTominay banged his overhead kick. People's getting sick and tired of hearing, especially this Bobby guy, actually, bro. Anytime Cristiano Ronaldo is mentioned, it makes his blood boil, bro. It makes his blood boil, especially when he cried in the Euros. When he cried when he missed that penalty. Yeah, but yeah, he rolled back the years with that overhead kick, man, and it was good to see, man. Scott McTominay did his thing and said, here's what I can do at the age of, 40? Yeah, big up Cristiano Ronaldo, man.
Yeah. I'm going to give mine.
Cool. And then
I'm
Bobby.
going to give mine.
No.
Do we go on?
All right, you want to go? You go through then.
I'm going to give mine to that Newcastle that Watermaid, or whatever, I can't pronounce his name, man. That Newcastle, I think he played.
Watermaid.
Yeah, he had a game. And that's the impact you want to be making in the Prem.
Yeah,
exactly. It's not for everyone. It's not for everyone, you know. These Isak, it's not for everyone.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Straight up.
he's
Yeah,
making
what,
his
not even
mark.
Harvey Barnes, yeah?
He's making it even.
No,
Well,
no.
I was gonna go down there, but look, give him his flowers, innit? That's me. I watched the game.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, then. Last and not least,
Let it all walk out. Let it all walk out. Look, it goes to Eze. Like I said, Arsenal boy, come back home. Your first North London derby, which you've dreamed about since you were a kid. Bagging a hattie is just ridiculous, and all the finishes are pretty clean as well. So yeah, I know that he must have when he woke up, he must have slapped himself or dash water on himself to make sure that it wasn't a dream. You know, I couldn't even dream that for myself, let alone for somebody else. So yeah, I'm super proud of him, and he definitely deserves the back pages for me. Could add 4 as well, to be honest.
He's definitely your cousin, isn't it? He's definitely your cousin.
I'm claiming him today. I'm claiming him from now.
Me personally, I couldn't go back to a team that kicked me to the curb like that. But that's just me, innit, man? That's just me, bro.
Yeah, well, that's why. That's why
you would have gone to Everton, didn't it? You would have gone to Everton.
100%.
I mean, both places would have been foreign to you anyway, so it made no difference.
Behave yourself.
Okay, well, look, that's been us, man. Those were good picks. That's been us, and I didn't actually tell you guys at the top of the show where you can find us. You've probably found us if you're listening or if you're watching. But look, tell a friend to tell a friend that you can find us on all digital streaming platforms, whether it will be Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, Google, YouTube, wherever you pick up your podcast, you will find us. And on social media, we're at Podcast Pundits _ on Insta, at Podcast Pundits _ on X, formerly known as Twitter, and just Podcast Pundits on TikTok. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll see the handles at the bottom of the page. Listen, please like this content. No matter where you're listening, share this content. No matter where you're listening, subscribe to this content wherever you're listening. We'll be back same time, same place next week. We got loads of stuff popping. Listen, we're back with a bang, and we'll be back in the studio soon as well, man. So, yeah, man. Yeah, it's exciting times ahead. So yeah, thanks for rocking with us. We've been your podcast pundits. Big up Donnie Darko. Big up Bobby Hendrix. You guys have been dope guests. It's been a great conversation.
Also, we didn't mention the TIFO either, by the way. We didn't mention this TIFO, by the way. Just
man, I want to talk about that, man. Come on, man.
I apologize.
Hey, cut this, man. Let's go, man.
Yo. Peace out, guys.
Peace. Love for the love.